the way The Rock handled, The Rock is it. You can look at several of my podcasts over the years, and every time I mention The Rock, I put The Rock number one. I always say you shoot for The Rock in every category, and then that's how you judge a pro wrestler. And I've said several occasions, The Rock is not a pro wrestler. The Rock was a movie star that happened to wrestle. The rest of us, Hulk Hogan, all of us, were John Cena too. I think we were wrestlers that did a few movies. But buddy, the Rock is a movie star that happened to wrestle. Batista's coming along with that too, of course, and I'm so proud of
Oh
him.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and
absolutely.
Cena's done some great movies too. But from The Rock's first movie till every movie he's done, it's been a 3 or 4 star type thing, and he's just I'm so proud to even be in the same it's not organization, just same industry as
Right,
The Rock.
right.
It makes me feel good to be in the same industry as him because he's a powerhouse. He really is.
Oh, I mean, and he commands your attention every time he gets out there. But what did you think about him coming out? So last time we saw him was in your backyard, Atlanta, and it was Bad Blood. He came out, he did the whole throat slash thing, making it seem like he was going to either go one of two routes, and it was either towards Cody or towards Roman Reigns. In this case, he comes out, in my opinion, as Dwayne Johnson. He doesn't come out as the final boss. He's not the Rock to me. He's Dwayne Johnson, the nice guy that we all know and love, comes out, gives hugs, shakes hands, and shows respect to everybody. So very different than how we last saw him. What's your take on that?
Very good analogy, and that's how it was. It was instant that he was there as Dwayne Johnson,
Right.
and there was something very special about that as well. I mean, even when he turned his back in the beginning and kind of was looking up above him here and just kind of taking it in, and when he went out, I guarantee if you review the last 10 times he's entered the ring, if you look back at the last 100 times he's entered the ring, he went to where his back was to the hard camera. Even The Rock got a little bit lost with what was going on, and he went to the with his back to the hard camera for the very first.
Right.
And that's the biggest no-no in pro wrestling. And it happens about 3 or 4 times a week on AEW. It's unbelievable that nobody tells them what to do. But for people that don't understand what I'm saying, for example, at Center Stage years ago, and a lot of buildings like AEW that doesn't have a big crowd, where the hard camera is, there's no people. So it's hard to go over to that camera and wave at it and flex at it and point at it because there's nobody there.
Right.
And if there is, even at WCW Nitros, there's less people over by the camera, the hard camera, because you want the people to be in the camera view. So you always, no matter what, and it's the hardest thing in the world to do, especially at Center Stage where it's a wall. It's a wall and a camera, but
Wow.
there's 20 million in that camera and there's 500 over here. So you always go out and present the hard camera first, with the double buy or whatever your gimmick is. And then you acknowledge with your back turn the people. But The Rock last night, I'm telling you for the first time ever, he got in the ring and to the right would have been the hard camera, but he went to the left turnbuckle. So his back, where you want to get that first hard camera shot of The Rock in the middle of the ring, his back was to the camera. And I think he really just probably got lost. I mean, even at the smallest independent show I do in that 20-year run of independence,
Right.
but before I walk to the curtain, I'd say, which side is the hard camera on? Because even in a rinky-dink thing like that, there's 1,000 people watching there, and there's going to be thousands watch it on whatever that camera they got holding, whether it's YouTube or a TV thing or
Sure.
anything.
Yeah.
So you always acknowledge that hard camera first, and then you venture off to the crowd. But it was breathtaking, all of it. The Rock did fantastic job acknowledging Cody. But back to your question, he took himself completely out of play.
He did, and maybe that's intentional because there's rumors out there that he's not going to be a part of WrestleMania. So maybe this was the natural way to kind of bow out if that's the direction they're going.
Sure.
I mean, I think it would devastate fans because so many people want to see. I mean, I'm torn between who I want to see him wrestle. Do I want to see him go after Cody or Roman? I think Roman, honestly, is my opinion. What about you? If he were to do it,
I'd like to see him go after Roman. I really would. That would be the better. I think the better of the two, just because it's more of fighting, keeping the bloodline in there, and fighting for really who is head of the table. I think it'll be better matches. I just do. They seem to have better chemistry. I think that'd be the way to go. But last night there was just not a question in my mind that it was going to be a boom on Reigns when he came out with the beads.
Yeah.
And he went back up for the second finger in the air, and I went, here it comes, and it never did. And I was like, wow, so he acted like a boss last night. He acted like an owner of part of the WWE, and like he was part of it, not in a cocky way. He's like a happy, proud way. This was his baby, and look at our baby we've had here and how wonderful it is. So I thought it was spectacular, but he did take himself out of the mix, so to speak. But then again, brother, all it takes is one run in, and he's right back in the mix.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they go, and maybe this was intentional. I mean, they've certainly thrown a swerve into the mix with him, and of course with Cody last year, how he stepped in and all that. So there's no telling where they're going to go, but I think that either way that it goes from here, it's going to be huge things for the WWE and pro wrestling. So be interested to see, and we're talking about it right now, so they did their job correctly. He came out as the TKO. Whatever his title is there, but I know he's on the board of directors. So either way, we're talking about it. So they did the right thing.
Really, really impressive. And just how everything was done. And like you said, the guys really did follow up very nicely. I mean, they had some great matches. I mean, Seth and CM did great. The girls match was fantastic, I thought. Everybody did a great job. It was an awful tough match to follow. I'm not big on false finishes. I think there's way too many in today's wrestling. But the way they did those last night with all of this, and keep in mind, every match can't be like that. So it's usually just something minor happening and then the kick out. And you're like, that's too many falsies. That's too many falsies, But last night, it wasn't too many because of every time it's got to be over on this one, and nope. So it was really a hell of a finish, a hell of a show. Just really, like, the best way I can say it for my heart is I was really watching through Buff Bagwell eyes and wanted to be there, wanted to be part of that.